Welcome to the tutorial section for the roulette playing cards. So thanks very much for picking up the deck. Really hope you guys enjoy it. So it's kind of stacked with new features, this deck. So we've got both the flipbook animation, but we've also got where the kind of ball stops on the wheel. So that allows you to do kind of nice countdown principles, spell 2 principles. So yeah, it's a really kind of easy to use marking system. So I'm going to go through some of that stuff. We've also got a red back included with this, so this allows you to do some really nice kind of colour changing deck routines. If you pick up a couple of decks, then you can have a couple more extra red backs to play with. So yeah, you can have more kind of options. We've also got the croupier hands, so one's holding a ball, one's in a kind of thrown position. So it's kind of similar to our kind of grind out and grind off kind of concept, but yeah, this kind of allows you to keep within the roulette theme. And we've also got a box gaff trick that we're going to go through. So Lewis came up with this really nice kind of it's kind of like a box prediction trick, and it uses a matching back to the box that's got the ball that's stopped on a particular number. So yeah, we've got quite a lot of material to get through, so let's just get straight into it. We're going to use this deck of cards to play a game of roulette. We'll warm up the wheel, give these cards a mix, and I'm going to invite you to place your bet. Please select any card you like.
Well, that one there, please.
That one there. Have a look, show the camera, don't show me. You're going to place your bet somewhere in the middle of the deck. Card gets lost, and I'm going to give these a quick mix just to make sure I don't know where the card is. We'll leave it to chance. So the bets are placed, we're going to get the wheel spinning. Have a look inside there. You should see the wheel actually spins. I'm going to riffle through the cards, and whenever you feel lucky, just call stop. Stop. There. When I break the deck, you'll see the ball has stopped on the number 15. Now there is no 15 in cards, telling us the location of your card. Deal 14 cards down and then deal the 15th card. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. What was your bet?
10 of spades.
10 of spades. Let's see how lucky you were.
Oh yes.
There you go. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You always win in this casino. To get set up, we're just going to put the deck in running order. So that's ace to king, ace to king, ace to king, ace to king. And this is so the animation works nicely when you display. So that's the first part of the setup. Second part of the setup is you're going to take any 6. So we're going to take any 6 and we're going to put that on top of the deck. Now this is because the 6 has the number 15 with the ball landed on the number 15. So I chose the number 15 because it's kind of like a mid-range number. So this is a countdown to kind of trick. So if it was like 42 or 35, then the spectator is going to be counting down forever. Likewise, it's not like kind of 4 or 5. So 15 is a good mid-range number. Gets to build that anticipation without kind of dragging it on for too long. So new deck order, any 6 on top. What we're going to do then is we're going to count 14 cards including this top card. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We're going to put that to the side just for one moment. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put a dog ear crimp in the 15th card down. So I'll exaggerate this greatly for the camera so you can see. So we're just putting a dog ear crimp, and you can do that in the bottom left and top right corners where the indices are. So this is just in case you kind of do any kind of turning around with the deck, so you can always catch that break. So I've greatly exaggerated that for the camera, but yeah, just put a little dog ear in there. And that's all the setup you need, you're ready to go. So in a minute, that dog ear crimp is going to come in really handy because it allows you to both find that break and get ready in one hand. So you can do it in 2 hands, you can come here and then get ready, but it's just more natural if you just push up and then kind of get ready this way. So first off, we're going to have any card selected, obviously under our top stock. So any card can be selected. As they're looking at their card, my left hand is doing this, and I'm getting ready in a Marlowe tilt kind of position here. So we're going to do Marlowe tilt, but just with 14 cards on top. So as they're looking at their selection, I'm getting ready for my tilt move. So it comes in here, I'm going to push a few of the bottom cards forward, and then that's going to look like it's getting put at the bottom of the deck, when in reality it's the 15th card down. And that's it. So now we're going to go into any kind of shuffle sequence you like. So if you know push through shuffle, that's a good time to do this. So you can do push through shuffle and a few strip cuts. If you know in the hands kind of false shuffles, you can do that kind of stuff now. So this is kind of where I say you can switch out any kind of sleights you know. So they would be the kind of more advanced sort of handlings. If you want to say, hey, we'll give you a card, a mix and a shuffle, you can do an in-jog shuffle now. So you're going to pick up some cards below the top stock. So pick up about a quarter of the deck from the bottom. You're going to in-jog the first card. So you can catch a break under there in a minute. And then you're just going to run these cards off and give those a shuffle. Then you're going to pick up with your thumb, you're going to push up, pick up, and you're just going to run those cards off. And then we're back to the top. So we've done a shuffle, but we've maintained our top stock. So that's all you need to do for this trick really. So you can choose any shuffle you like. Next we're going to get into the kind of more presentation side. We've done all the hard work. Now, this is where you can sell the trick. So you're going to show your spectators that the roulette wheel actually animates. You say, look inside, you can see the wheel spins. And basically we're going to do a riffle force, but use the animation as a riffle force. So here you can just do any cut you like and keep a break. That's our top stock now underneath here. I like to do just a quick pass here just to make sure that there's a kind of, so it's a bit fairer. But however you like, just cut that stock to the middle and keep a break. So like a riffle force, we're going to keep that break with the left finger, but we're just going to push the deck a little bit further forward. So our pinky is right at the back there. And that just frees up our hand so we can expose more of the animation this way. So I've still got the break and I'm just doing the animation this way. So I'm going to riffle through, I'm going to invite the spectator to call stop. So whenever you're feeling lucky, just say stop somewhere. So they're going to say stop. No matter where they say stop, I'm going to cut at my break. So if they call stop immediately, I'll just lift up and cut. Or if they call stop towards the top, no big deal, I'll just lift up and cut. And then that's it. Now we've got a ball stopped on 15, so we can say, well, that's not your card, is it? I tell you what, this is trying to tell us something. Your ball has stopped. The ball has stopped on the number 15. So here you can hand the deck out to the spectators and you can say count down 15 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And the 15th card, drumroll please, is their selection. So I'll run through that a little bit more up to speed. So we're going to take any 6, put that on top, count 14 cards, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 cards. We're going to put a dog ear crimp in the 15th card, and then we're set up ready to go. The deck is in new deck order, ace to king, ace to king. So we can invite a spectator to select any card and just make sure that card comes from under the top stock. As they're looking at the card, I'm getting a break above that crimp. I'm then going to put this selection back, actually the 15th card down, but from the top it looks like it's going at the bottom. I'll let all that fall together as I riffle and say your card gets lost in the deck. You can then do any kind of false shuffle you like, and a couple of strip cuts, or you can do in the hand shuffle, or you can just do some kind of cuts and just say this gets kind of lost and shuffled into the deck, however you want to do. Just maintain the top stock. If you want to do a basic version of that, you're just going to pull off about a quarter of the deck, in-jog one card, run off the cards, pick up your in-jog, and shuffle back to the top. So you haven't messed with that top stock. Then you're going to show the animation, say look, this is actually a roulette wheel. If I riffle through, you can see the wheel actually spins. Now we're just going to swing cut to keep that top stock in the middle as we do a kind of riffle force but using the animation. So please just say stop somewhere where you're feeling lucky, there. No matter where they stop, I'm going to lift up at the break and I'm going to cut the deck. Then I'm going to hand the deck to the spectator, and you can kind of use whatever patter you want. You say, look, the ball has stopped at number 15. So this isn't your card, but it's trying to tell us something. Your card is going to be the 15th down. So then they're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 15th card is their selection. So that's straight up. Now we can move on to split bet. This one is called split bet. So it's very similar to straight up, but instead of one selection, we're going to use 2 cards. So it works great for 2 spectators, but I'm going to do it directly for the camera so you get a point of view of what's going on. So let's get a couple of bets placed. Call stop anywhere you like. There. So the first card will deal face up, so you guys can follow along as well. It's the 8 of clubs, and call out stop somewhere else for a second card. The second card is 2 of clubs. So they've come from different parts of the deck, and ordinarily I wouldn't see these. I'd show the spectators and I'd say, is there any similarities between your cards? And they'll say yes, they're both black and they are both the same suit. I'll say in that case we can do a combination bet. I'll take the 8 first and I'll lose it somewhere towards the bottom of the deck, and the 2 will go a little bit higher, so they get lost in separate parts of the deck. Give these a quick mix, we'll warm the wheel up. Bets have been placed, the wheel is now spinning. In a second, I'm going to riffle through the cards, and whoever's feeling lucky, just call out stop. We'll see where the ball lands. Say stop somewhere there. So if I break the deck, you'll notice the ball has landed on the number 15. This is telling us where your combination bet is. If I count down 15 cards, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, the 15th card. All your cards, you had the 8 and you had the 2. Well, 8 plus 2 should make the 10 of clubs. Congratulations. So that's a great combination bet. That's a big payout, and this is a cricket casino. I'm not about to pay out double. I'm going to take this 10 back in time. I'm going to split it into your initial bets. Unlucky guys, house always wins. Here's how to perform split bet. So it works just the same as straight up in terms of we're going to use the countdown to principle, but instead of just one selection, we're going to have 2 spectators. They're going to make a combination bet, and then we're going to split that bet at the end for an extra hit of magic. So here's how to get set up. So ace to king, ace to king, ace to king, ace to king. And again, this is so that the flip book animation works nicely. All we're going to do is we're going to take out any 6. And again, this is so the ball stops on number 15. So that's a nice mid-range number to count down to. And you're just going to choose any suit you like. So I'll choose hearts for this demonstration. And what we're going to do, we're going to take out the 10. And then you can choose any 2 numbers which total 10. So 8 plus 2 equals 10. 3 plus 7 equals 10, or 6 plus 4 equals 10. So whichever numbers you choose, just make sure that these are going to be our force cards. So this combination is going to make this card, and then we're going to split it at the end. So that's the kind of key cards we need, and what we want to do is just put a little dog ear crimp on the 10, or you can use a breather crimp, or you can use whatever kind of break system you want. So that card is going to have 12 cards, including the 6 on top of it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And it's going to work out 13, 14, 15 in a minute. You'll see once I go through this. So the 10 goes on top. We're going to put 12 cards on top of that, including the 6, which has got the 15. So that's your setup. And then your 2 force cards go on top. And we're ready to go. So we're set up. We've got the 2 and the 8 on top of the deck. And we're just going to do any two forces you like. So you can use a riffle force, a dribble force, or a classic force, whatever you're comfortable with. I'll just run through a riffle force, so if you're new to Magic, at least you've got something to go with. So what we're going to do, as we're talking, we're just going to casually cut the deck, and we're going to keep a break above that top stock. So if you're more advanced, then you can just do a pass here just to hide that kind of thing, just as you're squaring the deck up. However you want to do, we're just going to cut the top half to the middle and keep a break. So the riffle force, we're just going to thumb down the left corner of the deck, and we're going to ask a spectator to say stop somewhere. So please say stop somewhere, and no matter where they say stop, we're going to kind of mimic that we cut that top half, but we're actually going to cut where our little finger break is. So we're going to bring the middle finger in, but we're just going to pick up at the little finger. You can then thumb off the top card, replace the top half, keep a break again. So you can do another riffle force here if you want, or you could do a classic force, entirely up to you. However you want to do it, just force those cards. And now we want to recut this to the top of the deck. So you don't want to do this, we're going to recut that to the top of the deck, so we got our top stock. I'm not going to look at these cards, the spectator's going to look at the cards, and as they're looking, I'm just getting a break above that 10, above the dog ear crimp. So that's why we put the crimp in, so we don't have to then start counting kind of 12 cards down. You could do a pinky count if you're proficient with that for the cards. However you want to do, you're just going to get a break above that 10, and we're going to get ready for a Marlowe tilt kind of move. So it's a Marlowe tilt move, but with kind of 12 cards instead of just one. We're going to take the first selection. We're going to say we'll put that somewhere near the bottom, but in reality it's just going above the 10. So from the front it looks like it's going deeper in the deck. Second selection, we'll say we'll put that a bit closer to the top, and again that's just going above that selection, which goes above the 10. So from the front it should look good. Now you can go through any kind of shuffle and cut sequence you like. So you can do a push through shuffle, you can do an in the hands false shuffle. But again, if you're new to Magic, I'll just run over a basic kind of semi-false shuffle you can do. So we just don't want to disturb this top stock. So we can kind of mix a few of the bottom cards, it doesn't really matter. So what we're going to do, we're going to pick up a few cards from the bottom, and then we're going to in-jog the first card. So we're going to pull down one card, and we're going to leave it in-jogged. So that's where it sticks out the back of the deck. So I'm doing that greatly exaggerated just so you can see. And then we're just going to run the rest of these cards on top of that. Now what we do, we're going to push up at the break, at the kind of in-jog card with our thumb, as we maintain those two separate halves, and then we're just going to reshuffle that top section, and then when we get to the finger break here, we're just going to put that all back on top. So we've shuffled your cards into the deck. In reality, all we've done is just shuffle that bottom stock. So I'll do it again, just look something like that. So just a rough kind of sloppy shuffle there. So two selections have been made, they've been lost in the deck, we've shuffled them up. Now we're going to bring attention to the roulette wheel. So we're going to say, you guys have made two selections, they're going to be a combination bet. So we're going to put your cards together and let's see how we go. Now we're going to bring attention to the roulette wheel. We're going to riffle through to show the animation. You can show both the spectators, and then when you're ready, you're going to come down and you're just going to swing cut and keep a break above that cut. Now we're going to do kind of a riffle force, but using the animation. So a riffle force position is this. What we're going to do, we're just going to move the whole deck slightly forward, so the little finger is quite far back, kind of almost hanging off the back there. And this is so we can free up the front of the deck to do a nice riffle to show the animation. So you can invite one of your spectators just to call out stop. Who's feeling lucky? Call out stop. So you're going to riffle. No matter where they say stop, I'm just going to lift at the break. And then I'm going to cut that card, cut the top stock back up to the top. You can draw attention to the roulette wheel and say, wow, the ball's stopped at the number 15. Let's see how lucky you were. We're going to count down 15 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We said we're going to do a combination bet. How did we work out? So there's a 10 of hearts. Now what we've done is we've recounted their selections onto the top half here. So now if you pick up this stock, as they're kind of reacting, and you can say, well, what did you have? And what I'm doing is I'm just getting a break under those top 2 cards. So you can do a pinky count, or you can just do kind of a pull up this way, just kind of make sure that's hidden. All I'm doing is I'm getting a break under the top 2 cards as I'm asking, well, what was your card and what was your card? Well, that goes together and makes a 10. So I'm going to come back and put the 10 on top of those 2 cards. Now at this stage you can split this any way you like. So if you kind of got some more advanced kind of sleights in your toolkit, then you can do a duck change, you can do a shapeshifter, you can even do some mucking at the card table. But just for kind of ease of kind of demonstration, this is a really nice simple split move you can do. It's kind of based on the paintbrush change. So if you know the paintbrush change, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here, I'm going to just keep hold of that bottom card. So I'm going to come up here and then I'm going to rotate round and then thumb off. So we break into their original selections. So one last time. So we've got a break here. So I'm going to come over, I'm going to say, well, the 10 was a combination bet. Let's put that back to your original selections, and then you just split that back up. Last time, 10 breaks into their original selections. Here's a more kind of up to speed run through so you can follow along. So we've got the 2 selections on top. We're going to cut those to the middle, keep a break, and then we're going to force those 2 cards however you like. So there's the first card. You choose a card as well. So there's a second card. We're going to recut that to the top. As they're looking at the card, I'm going to get a break above that dog-ear crimp and get ready for a Marlowe tilt move. First selection is going to get put above the 10. Second selection a bit higher up in the deck, but again, that just gets put above the 10. Cards are lost. You can then do any kind of shuffle cut sequence you like. So you could do a kind of push through shuffle at the table. It's a nice kind of way to do this. So you can just do some strip cuts as well. And now we're going to bring attention to the deck. So you've made a combination bet. You can see the roulette wheel. Check this out. You can see it actually animates. Show you spectators. Come back down when you're ready. You can just swing cut again and say, just say stop somewhere. Who's feeling lucky? So we're going to riffle through. No matter where they say stop, I'm going to cut at the break and recut the cards. I'm going to say, well, the ball has stopped on the number 15. So don't think that's your card. Let's count down 15 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We said it was a combination bet, so let's have a look. There's a 10. So what was your card? What was your card? So you're just going to get a little bit of an offbeat here as you get a break. Oh, I had a 2 and I had an 8. Well, that makes a 10, so that's a combination bet. I'll tell you what, let's resplit this, and we'll go back to the beginning. And there's your initial bets. Here are a couple of additional ways to split this 10. They're a little bit more technically advanced and you need to be careful of your angles, but you're going to get maximum visual impact from this. So we've just found the 10, we've got the offbeat, we come and replace the top stock here, we're going to get a break under the top 2 cards as we palm those cards off the top of the deck. You're then going to set the deck down and you're going to pick up the 10 and you're going to load those cards to the back of the 10. Now you're in a perfect position to do a kind of snap change rip. And because the deck is here, we've got a dirty card here, all we do is we get a bit of misdirection as we throw those cards out and we can just square this up onto the top of the deck and we end completely clean. So that's the first way. The second way is this. We're going to, in the same position, we just found the 10, reload, do exactly the same, come over and palm those top 2 cards, load the cards to the back. Now you're going to display the 10. You're going to come over here, we're going to do a Tenkai steal as we rip these cards. We can then throw those out, put the dirty card on top of the deck as we spread. So they're just a couple of different ways to split the 10. Like I say, there's loads of ways to do this. I'll just run through that very quickly from a reverse angle so you can see what's going on. We've just got the offbeat. We replace the top 2 cards. We're going to get a break as we top palm the 2 selections. I'm going to set the deck in front of us as we pick up the 10 and say, well, that was a combination bet. What card did you have? And we're going to load the cards to the back here. Well, you had an 8 and you had a 2. Now we're going to do the snap change. First thing you need to do is pull the back card away slightly. So we're going to pull the back card away as we do a snap change to split these cards. You can then regrip them here, and the right hand turns down. So this covers the angle nicely. So as you do here, your right hand turns down. As you get some misdirection, as you throw those cards out, this card is now above the deck. I can just deposit on the deck as I spread to end clean. Here's the snap change up to speed. I load the cards, I come over and I snap change. As my hand turns down, I place the card on top of the deck and I spread. Here's the second version. We've just got the offbeat, place the top stock. You can get a break under the top 2 cards and then come over and palm those cards as you set the cards down. I pick up the 10, I say, well, that was a combination bet. I gesture, I say, what was your card? I'm going to load those 2 cards as I say, well, that was an 8 and that was a 2. I say, well, 8 and 2 makes 10. So you effectively did a combination bet. And let's go back to the beginning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press with my thumb to separate these 2 cards. So they're the 2 selections behind the 10. So as I'm turning my hand down, I just press away with those 2 cards, and then my middle finger and ring finger here are going to steal the 10 into tenkai. I'm then going to regrip with my thumb and first 2 fingers here, and my thumb and index finger here, and then I'm just going to split these cards. Again, my hand turns kind of palm down as I throw those 2 cards out. So now the tenkai card is hidden behind your hand. Your hand is just above the deck. You can deposit the 10 on top of the deck as you spread to end clean. Here's the tenkai steal up to speed. So we've got the selection. I'm going to load those 2 cards as I say, well, let's go back to the beginning. I split the cards, I throw them out, 10 goes on top of the deck and you spread. So this is a nice little technique if you're not comfortable with palming cards off the top of the deck. So we've just dealt the 15th card. I'm going to replace the top stock, and now I ask the question, so what was your card? And during that gesture, I'm just getting a break under the top 2 cards. So you had the 8 of hearts and you had the 2 of hearts. Well, the combination bet, and I'm just kind of emphasizing the singularity of the card, the combination bet is the 10 of hearts. There you go, you relax, you've got a nice big offbeat. You're going to come over, put the 10 on top of the deck, and now we've got the 2 cards, the 2 selections loaded under the 10. You're going to grip in an overhand grip, and I'm going to drop the whole deck, but keep hold of those 2 selections under the 10. Then you can go into the split sequence, and I like the line, wow, this is a crooked casino, and I'm not about to pay out double. So we can split the 10 into your original bets. You throw those out, tenkai card gets ditched on top of the deck, and you end nice and clean. We'll begin by giving these cards a quick mix, just to make sure we start in a totally random position. So in roulette, there are red numbers and there are black numbers. So what would you usually choose, red or black?
I like red.
Red. Reach in there and just touch any card you like, it doesn't matter which one.
4 parts.
That's going to be your bet. So you'll notice that the back is red, but the casino always has an edge. After the wheel has spun, you see we can change your selection to black, and if I just snap, you notice the entire deck changes black. Unlucky mate, house always wins. Here's a setup for red or black. So you're going to take the red back gaff that you get with the deck, and then you're also going to take, I just use a low spot kind of card here. You can unstick this at a later point if you want, so this isn't kind of a permanent fix. So we're going to take some double-sided stick tape, and I just stick a little bit one side, and then I just stick a little bit this side as well. So it's not going to interact with any of the kind of art and peel off any of the kind of paint on the card. And what you're going to do, you're just going to burnish that down so it really kind of sticks to this card. So this is the main card we want this to really stick to. So just kind of make sure that's really stuck down. Same goes this side. Just kind of run the edge of a knife or a Sharpie over this. And then you're just going to align these perfectly and just press down. So that gives us a double backer, a different coloured back double backer. Now, last bit of stick tape, I promise, is going to go in the centre of the red back side. So we're just going to press down, and again, just be very careful not to kind of scratch the paint. And then we're just going to burnish this down as well. So just kind of rub over here. So what we want is this to be stuck only to this card. So there you go, that's all you need to do to get set up for this trick. Here's how to perform red or black. So we're going to start with our double colour double backer on top of the deck with the stick tape, and we're going to show this deck to be fully red. So when you bring the deck out, you're not going to spread through like this, you're just going to bring the deck out when you're ready to perform, show the red back, and then you're going to flip the deck over. So to begin with, you're just going to do a series of cuts just to flash as many red backs as you can. So in its simplest form, it's going to look something like this. So we're just going to strip off some of the tops here, and then we're going to flash here. So we're just going to strip off some more, and we're just going to flash. So this is just to get the illusion that we've got a fully red backed deck. And then when you come to the end one, you can just do kind of like a spread pass. So you're going to press in here, and that's going to go to the top there. So then we're going to replace the red back to where we started. So there's a few ways to do this. You might have seen in the performance, I kind of do some of these kind of fancy cuts, and this is a cut called Colivagin by David Davis, if you want to go and learn that. So yeah, the idea is just to flash as many red backs as you can. When you get to this point, careful that you don't flash the black there. So we're just showing as many red backs as we can, just as we're opening the trick and discussing. Then you're going to say to the spectators, in roulette, there's black numbers and there's red numbers. So when you play roulette, what colour do you usually go for? So they're going to give you an answer, either red or black, and you can adjust your patter to suit depending on what they say. So you're going to say, choose a card, red or black. So let's say they choose the red 2. So we're going to out jog that card, and we're going to square the rest of the deck on top. Now what we're going to do, your hand is going to be in this kind of position, and we're just going to angle jog that card to the side. Use your middle finger, and you're just going to angle jog it over to the side, just as you're squaring the deck up. What we're doing with the little finger is we're just going to get a break on that red card at the bottom. So that's done in one motion. So you're going to square up, and as soon as my hand covers my pinky, I'm doing that work underneath as I'm angle jogging this card. So I'm going to do this very exposed for you now. You're going to pull the bottom card, which is the double backer, off with their selection and square it. So when you do that fast, you can do that invisibly, and then you're just going to turn it over to show the red back. So I'll do that kind of again. So they've selected a card, you've out jogged it, you come over, you get a pinky break as you angle jog that, and then you're just going to strip all this out. You're going to say, well, it's funny you chose a red card because you know you've seen that they've got red backs. And then as you turn over, what's happening underneath is your pinky is just pulling down on that double backer again. So as you flash the red back, so yeah, it's funny because this has got a red back as well. You're going to pull down, and then that's going to get, well, the deck's going to get fed into that gap as you bring that card over here. So I'll do that all together. So select any card, you choose a red card. I'm getting the pinky break as I angle jog, and then I'm stripping everything out as one and making sure that's all square. I'm going to turn over to flash again, one more time the red back. As I turn over, my pinky pulls down and I feed the deck into that gap as I pull the card over here. So now we've already changed it to the black. So all we need to do now is turn the deck over, careful not to flash any of the black back, sorry. You can give that a spin and say, well, over time, the house always wins. You can slowly turn that card over to show that their selection has actually changed colour. And now you're just going to align the card as you flip that down. You're just going to snap or do whatever magical gesture you like. And you say, not only does your selection change colour, and then if you just press down a fraction as you spread, that card is then going to get stuck and the double backer red is going to get hidden. So you're going to spread, say, look, all the cards turn black, and as you get to about a quarter, I just like then just to flip this over just to show how fair it is, and then you can continue to spread through the deck to show the entire deck has changed colour. So that's red or black. Here are some final tips on how to make all of that invisible. Up to now I've just shown you a very exposed view for explanation purposes, just to get the mechanics of the trick across. So here are the finer details on performing this trick. The first thing we're going to think about is body positioning and angles. So if you imagine a line that sticks out from your stomach straight in front of you and then 90 degrees to the left. So that's your kind of sweet spot during the slides. So this doesn't mean you can't perform this fully surrounded, just during those slides you can kind of move your body positioning just to cover that, and I'll go through that in a second. So the other is the kind of the pitch of the deck. So this is best performed kind of up and close to your spectators. You don't want to be performing this kind of this way because they'll see a lot of this work underneath. So the best view is kind of down and 90 degrees to the left. So the more you can get this back side of your hand covering, the better the slides are going to go unnoticed. Let's look at the slides themselves. So it's quite important that you don't have a card selected a few cards down towards the top. It's not the end of the world, but I'll show you why. You can see that that card has got a long way to travel before it gets, you can see it's got quite a bit of space to cover before it gets aligned with that card. So my first bit of advice on the slide would be to have a card selected that is lower in the deck. That means it's got less ground to cover before it gets aligned with that card. So the less ground you've got to cover, the easier it's going to be. So you can do this with your patter. So for instance, you'll start in roulette, there are red and black cards. So what would you usually choose, a red or a black card? And what I've done, I've just kind of spread through half the deck. So now I'm forcing them to take a card that's in the lower portion. So it's just the timing of your patter. So when you say, what would you choose, a red or black? Just touch a red or black card, doesn't matter which one. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of forcing them to select a card that's low in the deck. That way, it's got less ground to travel before we have to align it with the double backer that we're going to strip out. Here's another little tip on this move. So as I'm not just stripping out, what I'm doing is I'm kind of splitting the attention. So what I'm doing, I move the right hand as well at the same time. So that way it kind of, not the focus is on here. It's just here, and then I just pull the deck out at the same time. So that's a little kind of tip just to kind of split the attention fractionally, just so that goes unnoticed. So we've just done the strip out, and what I do is I show my spectator on the left that it's a red card. Obviously these guys can see it as well, But what I'm doing is I'm making an excuse now to swing my body over to show the guys on the right. So I kind of flash over here to show that it's a red card. So that means that when I come here, I'm kind of covering this move as I show over here. So this is what I mean by using your kind of body positioning just to kind of hide these slights a little bit better. So run through that again. So we do the strip out. I'm going to flash over here, and another tip is to pull this card slightly forward so that your front two fingers can cover this. So you can see from most angles, just apart from there, I'm covered. So this is why I swing my body around this way as I do this kind of loading here. A tip on this also is to load the deck from the front. So if you load it from the back, there's a chance you're going to get flash here. But if you load it from the front, during this body move, it becomes completely invisible. So there are just a couple of finer points just to think about, just to make this completely invisible, is body positioning, the angle of the deck, have that first card selected lower in the portion of the deck, move the right hand out as you do this, and then during this transition you're just going to move your body slightly to the right just to show your other spectators, and then the rest is easy.
A dirty scam. They do that in casinos. I'm going to represent this with this deck of cards. So I'm going to run through it, and we're going to select the number that you're going to bat on, okay? And just tell me stop whenever you feel like. So they say stop. Because we saw this card and this card, I'm going to pick the one that we haven't seen. The one that was right in the middle over here. The 8 of clubs. Now, this 8 of clubs here would be how much you'd bet, for example. It could be $8, 18, 8,000, 80, 800. Depends. But, and maybe you split everything and put some on the red too. Now, do you think you'd win? The problem with this kind of gambling is the house always wins. And if it falls on black, then you're out of luck. Alright, so this is the explanation of the red and black 2. All you're gonna need here is, of course, your roulette deck. I put an 8 in my 8 of clubs, and I double stick tape to the indifferent back card. Okay, so it's just 2 cards glued together, and a card that matches. For example, I am using the 9 of clubs. You can do the 8 of spades or anything that contrasts with an 8 or 9s or even 6s. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bold this card a little bit. Okay. Now this goes on top of that 8, and the whole deck goes on top of it, and I put it in a box this way. Now you set to perform. Whenever you want it, you take this out of your pocket, and of course you take the deck this way, showing the red. Now you see, I'm going to show you something that they do in casinos, or you can use whatever pattern that you want. What you're going to do is a Hindu shuffle display. So you're going to show the back ones, and you're going to cut a few cards from the face. And as you pull some cards, you show the back. Try not to do in every one, just as you talk, okay? I usually do it in this guise of saying, I'm going to go take some of the cards, and I want you to say stop whenever you like. So we're going to, okay? So as they do this, they're going to say stop some point. Now I'm going to do a force that I read in a book called Destroyers by Troy Hoosiers. You point out, because we've seen this card, that's one in the face, and also now you're showing the back. This back has to be red. And because we saw this card, we're going to choose the one that's right in the middle that we haven't seen it. And what's going to happen underneath here is your index finger is going to push against that red card. And then very carefully, you're going to pull all the other cards from there, okay? And I put a little lower, so I stack the deck this way. And why do I do a little lower? Because I want to pull everything out and cut it on the bottom. So that 9, it's right there, okay? Right on the face of the card. Right on the bottom of the face-up card, I guess. Now you're gonna do a color change that I read in the Royal Road to Card Magic. Actually, my good friend Jeff Hinchliffe helped me out in finding this very cool color change. You're gonna put that card, the red card, on the bottom, okay? And you're gonna hold it like this. So what you're gonna do here is you're just gonna extend your index finger, and as you're coming to pick up this card, your index finger is gonna push flush with this card, and then you're gonna take this and you put it on top. Okay? And that's why I bold this card a little bit, to make it a little bit easier. So once they stop at this card, that goes right on the bottom. So they show it. Your index finger goes, reaches over, starts to pull, pull. And then once you reach this point, it's going to push the two cards a little bit more. And then you're going to take everything and put it on top. It's a really fast move, right? Then you take everything, flip it up, and then you can show it, and without spreading all the way to the bottom, you can show that all the cards change to black. So this is a very cool color change that you can do using the red back card. Okay, and if you want to see this color change, it's page 180 of Royal Road to Card, the Card Magic. It's a great book. Go and take a look. So this is called Black and Red, or Red and Black, Black and Red, version 2. Hope you like it. Actually, one of the oldest scams in the whole gambling scene. It's not dice, not chess. Yes, it involves cards. It's called the 3-card Monty, but I call it the cool Monty. Why? Because it's a cool Monty. I'm gonna use a few cards. I'm not even gonna use the entire deck of cards. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a few, and this is usually done with 3 anyways. 1 ace, and that ace goes inside, and you use also a queen. Now it's finding the lady. That's what you have to do. Usually they use 2 aces, but the 3rd ace is literally just to distract you. Also the queen, it's always known to the guy that's doing the dealing, because the queen is also marked. Okay, so if without being a trained eye, it's impossible for you to find, but a professional dealer would always know where that queen is. Can you point the marked card? Here? Of course. It's super easy when I point it out. But see, the house always wins, which means that not the queen, but all the other cards were marked. And again, my friend, you've been deceived. What you're gonna do, it's super simple. You're gonna set up everything on the case. Okay, I have a preset over here, so you need your deck of cards. What you're gonna do is, I usually put an 8 of spade on the face. Okay, pretty simple. And my setup here is, I have an ace of hearts, or any ace you want, a queen, and another ace. So 2 red aces and a black queen, or 2 black aces and a red queen, however you like. And I put an 8 of clubs, and I double stick tape to the red card that comes with your deck. Okay, so you're making a little odd back card. You can glue it if you want. I just double stick tape. Okay, now I put this an ace on top of it, the queen and another ace, so I'm sandwiched the queen with the 8 of clubs on top. This goes on top here, and everything goes in the box. Okay, showing the roulette side. And I close it because I don't want to flash this in case, you know, they see and they think that's how the back of the cards are, and it is. So I don't want to really flash it. So I bring this out open, and I take this out, and I'm going to show you one of the oldest scams in the history of gambling. So you go through it, and I tight spread a little bit when it comes to the end. Okay, and then I'm gonna see that ace of hearts or the ace of diamonds over there, one of your red aces. As I see this, I square everything and I take them and I put the deck in front of me in a little 45-degree angle. Okay. Now I'm gonna do Brother John Hammond frustration count. Okay. I'm gonna show you the back of all the cards, and I'll say the usually is done with one ace. And then I peel the queen off without showing the back, and then I show the other ace. So I say you should do it with one ace and a queen. They usually add another ace's distraction, and I drop this in a 45-degree angle too, so they see that 8, but they can't really see the pips that well. Okay. And then now I say, well, this card here is actually marked, so it's easy for you to keep track. So as I'm saying this, what I'm gonna do, I am gonna pick up the deck, okay, in here. And as I'm flipping this to show that this is an odd color card, I'm putting the deck in a dealer's grip. I'm just literally picking it up. I'm gonna drop this and deal this one-handed. So it switched from the 8 of spades to the 8 of clubs, but because this is not in play, it doesn't really matter, because this is the focus of the trick right now. So now you can rotate this and do the gambling demonstration thing. And whenever you're ready, you say, well, which one do you think this is the mark, blah, blah, blah. And they will say this for the queen. You show, of course, this is black, but then you can say, well, the house always wins. And then you show that's black, black. You just ribbon spread this. And then you can show that all the cards are actually black. Okay. Now, when you do the ribbon spread, if you want to, if you have a table, I just keep my hand in here, not to leave this card fly. Okay. So it is a little bit difficult to let that card fly, but I keep my hand just on top, and I just drop it and pull. Now, if you don't have a table, if you have just a little space that you can't, all you do is you spread this, and then you can just fan or show that all the cards are black. Just don't go all the way down to the bottom, otherwise you're gonna see this red card. Okay, so this is called the Cool Monty. It's a very easy 3-card Monty to do using Brother John Hammond frustration count and your roulette deck.
Like our other flipbook animated mechanic decks, the roulette playing cards double up as a marking system. So if you're familiar with our other decks, then you should be able to pick this up right away. But if you're new to flipbook animated marking, then we've made it even easier. So it's based on a 13 back repeating system. So each 13 bags, the cog will turn a quarter turn, and then when you put those 4 suits together, you'll get the full rotation. So what we've included in this deck as well is, like most kind of card routines, you want to be reading the marks in the top left corners so you can kind of read them in a spread. Whereas before with our decks, you'd kind of have to look at the whole card. So this is it's another new feature which allows this to be even more versatile. So now you can read the value in the top left corner in a spread. So there's a few different ways I use this deck. I use them kind of in a stacked suit order. At the card table, I'm only looking for a certain range, so I'm not looking for exact cards, I'm just looking for cards within a range, and I'll go through that in a minute. So using this deck for kind of card cheating or kind of at the table demonstrations is really easy. So just within 2 shuffles, I've got Ace King. And that's not set up, that's just genuine, just 2 shuffles. It's really that easy to get a good starting hand, and then you can control the rest of the board and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's a really powerful marking system. Let's get into it. All right, let's do a card cheating demonstration. First off, give those a really good shuffle and I'll explain what a mechanic is. In the card world, a mechanic is someone that fixes games. They use advanced sleight of hand technique to gain an unfair advantage over their opponents. I'll demonstrate using one hand of Texas Hold'em. You're going to be my partner, so you're going to get the winning hand.
Okay, sounds good to me.
How many players should we have at the table?
Yeah, should we start with, say, 4?
4. So position 1, you'll play position 2, position 3, position 4. Let's just imagine this guy has just finished dealing the previous hand. The cards have come to me to shuffle up and deal. So generally at the card table, you'll see players shuffle anywhere between 4 to 7 times. And that's before the cards are cut and the hand is dealt out. So let's see how we get on. So there's the first card, there's the second card. Let's see how your starting hand is. Ace Queen suited, that's not bad.
Yes, I'll have a bit of that.
Let's see what the flop brings. So we got a 10, we got a king, we got a queen.
Well, a little bit.
It's not bad. Burn 1 card, return. So you've hit 2 pair, you just 1 off a straight.
Yeah.
What do we need for a straight? Just need a jack. Let's have a look.
Oh,
There you go, what do you know? That's a royal straight flush. There ain't no beating that. Here's how to read the backs. So the flipbook animation is our kind of primary concept with this deck, but it does double up as an easy to use marking system. So if you've got any of our mechanic decks, you should be familiar with how the cogs turn. So how this works is it's a 13 repeating back system. So each suit turns a quarter turn. So riffle through there, so you see each suit turns a quarter turn, and then when you put all the 4 suits together, you get the full rotation. So that's the underlying system. So let's have a look at just one suit. So if I deal these down, just look at this cross quarter here. So when they're straight up, it's really easy to tell what card it is. It's an ace. So the ace starts in the straight kind of full 90 degrees position. So that's an ace. Watch what happens when I deal these down. So there's an ace, a 2. You can see this cog turns kind of just a fraction. And I'll deal these down, you'll see 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the 7 is kind of the midway. So we can see these are now kind of 45 degrees on the 7 and the 8. 9, 10, jack, queen, king. So the king is just 1 click off being vertical. So I'll just run those again and it'll go in reverse. So we've got king, queen, jack, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, ace. So that's all you need to know really with the kind of cog system. So I'll go through how to use that in a kind of card cheating situation. So this is what I use primarily at my kind of at the table sort of demonstrations, because we're only looking for cards that are kind of vertical. So that's an ace. So we're only looking for a few cards that are high value. So you can see all of the high value cards are kind of near vertical. So they're really, really easy to spot when you're doing kind of riffle shuffles and this kind of stuff. So there are key kind of cards, but I'll get into that in a minute. So yeah, there is another way to read the backs using the roulette deck, and that is so we can tell what card is in a spread. So I know that's a 7 because we're going to use this little spot here. So we can see this little diamond and it's going to point to a number. Now the numbers kind of stay true to the roulette board, so I haven't kind of coded these, so it's not 3 plus 6 is 9. It's just a matter of remembering 13 numbers. So I'll go through these. So 36 is an ace. So, and also you can use this at the same time. So you've got kind of 2 reference points. So a vertical orientation and a 36 is an ace, but I'll just go through the numbers. So this one is kind of, it's a split between 36 and 13. So that's a 2. Here we've got 13, 1, that is a 3. A 1 is a 4. A 0 is a 5. A 5 is a 6. 522 is a 7. 22 is an 8, 34 is a 9, a 15 is a 10, 15 free is a jack, 324 is a queen, and a 24 is a king. So it'll take you probably an hour or two just to memorize these cards, but once you memorize the 13 cards, you've got the whole deck. So they're not marked for suit as well, they're only marked for value, but yeah, it will take you just a little short time just to memorize these. So a good way to practice is to get 13 cards of one suit, give them a good mix, and then have a look. So that's a 7, that's a king, that's a 6, that's a 10, that's a 5, that's a 4, 324 is a queen, 13-1 is a 3, 15-3 is a jack, 36 is an ace, 22 is an 8, 34 is a 9, 36-13 is a 2. So just by remembering those 13 kind of number combinations, you can now read the entire deck. So I'll show you, this is a genuine shuffle. I don't know the order of these cards at all. I'll just show you how easy it is. Now this took me kind of like an hour or two to kind of remember. I'm not very good with numbers, but let's have a go. So that's a 5, that's a 5, that's a 9, that's a 10, that's a 10, that's an ace, that is an 8, that's a 10, 324 is a queen, a 0 is a 5, 13-1 is a 3, 324 is a queen, 34 is a 9, 22 is an 8, 36 is an ace, 36 is an ace, 13-1 is a 3, 36-13 is a 2, 5 is a 6, 522 is a 7, a 36-13 is a 2, a 5 is a 6, 36-13 is a 2, 24 is a king, a 0 is a 5, 36 is an ace, 15-3 is a jack, 13-1 is a 3, 34 is a 9, 522 is a 7, 1 is a 4, 324 is a queen, 13-1 is a 3, 15-3 is a jack, 15-3 is a jack, 15 is a 10, 22 is an 8, 5 is a 6, 324 is a queen, a 1 is a 4, 36-13 is a 2, 22 is an 8, 522 is a 7, 24 is a king, 24 is a king, 522 is a 7, 15-3 is a jack, a 1 is a 4, a 24 is a king, 1 is a 4, a 5 is a 6, and a 34 is a 9. So that literally took me about an hour or two to remember. So yeah, it's the marking system is kind of a byproduct of the animation, but it comes in really, really useful. And let me just show you how I can use that at the card table. Here's how I use this marking system at the card table. So I've already done some work on this. So if you check out the workshop, there's a whole video on card cheating with a mechanic deck. The password is stacked. So if you want to go and do a bit more kind of research onto this system, then I suggest you go and check that video out. But I'll just cover it basically here. So how I use this system at the card table is we've got 4 high value cards per suit. So that's 4, 8, 12, 16. So we've got kind of 16 cards throughout the deck that we're looking for. So within a few shuffles, we've got a good chance of locating one of those cards. So if you start with one good high value card, that's a great edge. But if you can control a couple of high value cards, then that's even better. So let's have a look at these cards. What distinguishes the high value cards from the low value cards? So if you have a look here, this is an ace. So what we're looking at is this center kind of cog. So you can see that's at 90 degrees, dead square, dead straight. So that is always going to be an ace. That's a really easy card to remember. So I'll just bring that up for the camera so you can see. So that's 90 degrees, very, very square. That's always an ace. Now, any high value card is just slightly off center to the right. So if you look at this card, that's a king. You can see the cog is nearly vertical, but it's just gone over one click to the right. The same with the queen and the jack. Where's the camera? There it is. So you can see it's very near vertical, but it's just gone over to the right by a couple of clicks. So the high value cards are really, really easy to spot. If we look at kind of a mid-range card, so this is a 7. So you can see that the cog orientation is like 45 degrees, whereas the ace is vertical. So that's all we're looking out for, is that kind of cog orientation. The straighter up it is, and the closer to vertical to the right, we're just looking for that little slice. So that's the only thing we're looking for, is those kind of 4 key cards. At the card table, before any hand is dealt out, you'll generally see the players shuffle anywhere between kind of 4 to 7 times. So we got that amount of shuffles to try and locate 1 or 2 of those high value cards. So there's 4 per suit, there's 4 suits. So we're looking for 16 cards within this deck. And we're not really trying to spot individual cards. We're only looking for cards with that kind of, if it's straight up 90 degrees, it's an ace, or if it's to the right a fraction. So we've got ace, king, queen, jack. So we're only looking for cards within that range. So this is what's great about this marking system. We're not looking for individual cards, we're just looking for cards within a range. So I'll just show you within a few shuffles. So there's the first shuffle. I've just cut a king to the deck, to the top. So all I'm going to do now is maintain that king on the top until I come across another high value card. So nothing's come up just yet. So I've got about another 3 or 4 shuffles. And there you go. I've just cut a queen. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to riffle down, and I'm going to either keep the queen or the king on top, just so they fall together as I square the cards up. So just within a couple of shuffles, I've controlled king, queen to the top of the deck. So that's a great starting hand. I'll just do that a bit more up to speed, and I'll call out the cards as they come up just so you can see. So nothing's come up yet. Still nothing. There you go, there's a king on top now. So I'm just going to keep that king on top until another good card comes along. And I've just got a couple more shuffles. So let's see. There you go. One more. So that's good enough. So we've got king, queen on top of the deck, I think it is, or king, jack. So I'm not really looking for particular cards. So look, you can see this is slightly to the right. So that's a king. You see that's a couple over, so that's a jack. So again, I've just controlled jack, king to the top of the deck within a couple of few shuffles. So now we've got a good starting hand at the top of the deck. What we're going to do from here. So the easiest thing to do is just bottom deal to your opponents until you want that card to fall. So if you're playing on your own, you're going to deal to yourself, or if you're playing with a partner, you'll bottom deal, and then deal from the top, bottom deal, bottom deal, bottom deal, bottom deal, deal from the top, and so on. So I'll go through the bottom deal very, very quickly, but there's loads of places you can go and learn this. So all we're doing is we're pushing over with our thumb the top card as we're kind of, if you can see underneath, I'm just pulling back with my middle finger slightly, and that's going to allow this card to kind of clear the bottom of the deck. So that's kind of key in the bottom deal. You can even use your kind of third finger, whatever finger you want. And then all we're going to do is kind of bring up and down a little bit just to get that kind of movement. And we're going to pull this card over as we go back. So that's the idea with the bottom deal. We're just going to deal cards off the bottom of the deck, and that maintains our starting hand on top. So let's run that out in a game of Hold'em. So for instance, let's say we've got 3 opponents and I'm going to take the winning hand. So I'll bottom deal to my opponents until I deal to myself off the top. I'll bottom deal to my opponents, and then I'll deal to the top for myself. So let's just put these out of the way a little bit. So all I'm doing straight away is looking at the top card of this on the deck. So that's a 10. So that's not going to do us any favours. So I'm going to burn that card. If that was a good card, I can burn from the bottom of the deck and then allow that card to hit the board. So in this instance, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to burn that card and I'll take a chance. So here's an ace. So there's a few ways you can run this. So I've got king, jack, so I don't really want anything higher to hit the board than the king. So what I'm going to do is a stud bottom deal for the flop. So I've got a queen. So now we're in an interesting situation. So I could burn that ace if I want and then deal, but I'm going to try and go for a straight. So we've got king, jack, queen, ace. So I only need a 10. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to second deal the burn card and allow the ace to hit the board. So now I'm just one card off a straight. So I'm just showing you how you can kind of manipulate the whole kind of game using this system. So that's not a 10, I'm just going to burn that. And what do you know, a 10 has just come out. So I've hit a straight. So this is how you can use this deck to influence every part of the game. I'm glad that just happened. So I would have burned that ace and let the board kind of run. But I just wanted to show how easy it is to manipulate not just a starting hand, keep tabs on what your opponents have got, but then you can influence the board just by kind of glancing this card, either doing a second deal for the burn card and then letting it run, or you can do stud bottoms if you want. So there's just some ideas for you guys. There's more kind of work on this if you go to the workshop and use the password stacked for the mechanic card cheating system. I go over some riffle stacking and a few more kind of advanced techniques in there. So yeah, that just gives you a bit of an overall idea of what you can do with the deck in a card cheating context. Right, we're going to try an experiment to see how lucky you are. Give those a good shuffle. And you can cut the deck any way you like. Just keep half, I'll keep half. So in a second, I want you to recut the deck, have a look at one card, burn that card in your mind, don't forget the card, and then you can then lose it in your half. So go ahead and do that. I've just chose a card. So going to shuffle. Now we're going to switch packs, and I'm going to try and guess what card you chose. Try and guess what card I chose. So I'm going to have a little look through here. Yeah, I reckon you chose that card. And when you're done, take it out, place it face down. So for the first time, what card did you choose?
9 of diamonds.
9 of diamonds. Well, I'm always lucky. So there you go.
Yes.
And I chose the 5 of clubs.
Yes.
There you go.
Another winner.
Very lucky, mate, very lucky.
Play the next game.
As we just shown you, the roulette playing cards are only marked for value, and this is kind of a byproduct of the animation. If you get on with the animation system and you want to use it as a fully marked deck, so you want to mark it for suit as well as value, there's a really easy way to do this. Now, this is entirely up to you if you do this. So maybe if you pick up a couple of decks, you can mark one for suit and use that for your marked card routines, and then you can leave the other one as is, and you can use that for your kind of riffle animation kind of routines. So it's entirely up to you, but here's a really easy way to mark them for suit. So we can arrange these as clubs, spades, hearts, diamond. So I've already got these laid out here, and I'll just show you how I mark these for suit. So for the clubs, we're going to do just a little Sharpie mark in the top left corner horizontally, and I use this diamond as a reference point so that I make sure I get all the marks in exactly the same place. So I'm just going to put a tiny little line horizontally on the top left corner. Now you need to do exactly the same, so you're going to turn the card around and do the same in the opposing corner. Hopefully the camera can see that. So we've got a horizontal mark just next to the diamond, top left, turn the card round and do exactly the same. So that's how to mark for a club. For a spade, we're going to stay in the top left corner, but we're going to do a vertical mark. So we do a vertical mark just next to the diamond, we're going to spin the card around and do exactly the same. So that's how I mark for a spade. For a heart, we're going to go to the top right corner and we're going to do a vertical, sort of like a 1 point black line there. We're going to spin the card around and do the same at the other top right corner. So that's how you mark for a heart. Lastly, a diamond, we're going to do in the top right corner, but we're going to do a horizontal kind of mark. So just a little line there, turn the card around and do exactly the same there. So that you can see here, the hearts are all marked in the top right corner horizontally. The diamonds are marked in the top right corner vertically. Spades, top left corner vertically. and then the club's top left corner horizontally. So then when you riffle through, you do get a slight click, but it's barely noticeable. So like I say, it's up to you if you do that additional mark, but if you did want to use it as a fully marked deck, there's a really easy way to do it. So you've just marked the cards for suit as well. So I'm going to share a really, really powerful kind of classic marked deck routine. So we can dress this up in a minute with some patter, but I'm just going to show you the basics. So you hand the deck to the spectator and you invite them to shuffle the deck. So the spectator shuffles the deck as much as they like. And then you're going to ask them just to cut the deck somewhere in half. And then you can say, do you want this one or this one? It doesn't matter. So we're both going to take one half of the deck. You can then even do another shuffle. And what you're going to say to the spectator is, I want you to cut the cards any way you like, and then look at that card. Really burn that card into your mind. So you're going to do it first. You're going to put the card back in the deck and close the deck and shuffle. So you're looking at the card, but you're just going to totally forget what that card was. So you don't need to know what that card was. So the cards go down. The spectator does the same. So they cut and they look at a card. So they're going to look at this card, for instance. When they're looking at this card, I'm looking at the back. So I know that that's a 3/24, that's a queen, and we've just marked up the top there, vertical. So that's a heart. So that's a queen of hearts. So the spectator looks at their card, you ask them to burn that image in their mind, and as they're doing that, you're just reading the backs. So they put it back in there. You can say we shuffle again, and so now we're going to exchange packs. So we switch packets, and I pick the packet up and I say, just go through the cards and try and find which card I looked at. So I know they looked at the Queen of Hearts, so I'm going to go through and just pick up the Queen of Hearts and put it on the table and set the deck down. So they're going to do the same, but I haven't really looked at any card yet, so they're just going to go through the cards and pick out any card. They're going to up-jog this card, and I know that they have chosen a 10 for me. So a 10 of clubs. So they put that card down. I read the back on here. I know what their card is. So I'm going to say, for the first time, what card were you thinking of? They're going to say the Queen of Hearts. I turn over the card and I'm going to say, well, how did you do? I was thinking of the 10 of clubs. And then they're going to turn over the 10 of clubs and you're going to get a crazy, crazy reaction. So there you go. That's a classic marked deck routine. The backs are really easy to read. The trick is really simple to do. So you're going to get some great reactions from this trick. You can dress this up however you like then with a patter. So you can, at the beginning, you can say, right, I'm just going to test how lucky you are. Or you can do it more of a mind reading kind of trick, or you can say it's about intuition. But yeah, for the roulette deck, I dress this up as in a more of a, let's see how lucky you are. I bet you I can get your card. Not only that, I can bet that you will get my card. So you can dress it up however you want, but that's the basics.
Hey guys, this is the croupier effect. That's based on a flat purse that we put originally on our YouTube channel, and you can find that on our YouTube channel, or even if you join our Facebook group for the optics and the visualize. Now this concept is really, really great with the roulette deck. You're gonna do this. You're gonna take your two jokers and you just double stick them, tape them together, or just glue them together. So I just put double stick tape. Okay, so I know they're not gonna spread. And the important part here is if the hand is here holding the ball, when you flip around, it should just open up, okay? Now the basics of this is very simple. You're just gonna shoot it forward and it's gonna stop, like a dead stop. Once it comes here, it's out of view. You're just gonna flip this around and come to that dead stop again. As you do this, as in coming forward, the ball that you have palmed in your left hand, you're gonna toss it up. So the card is gonna hit that ball, it's gonna fall in your hand. So that's super simple. The only important part here is that when you hold this card, you hold it on the left side. Because when you switch, it's gonna be on the right, but because of that ball, it's gonna get missed. The whole thing is just a subtlety, okay? So you show it, and you go 1, 2, and it falls right in your hand, and you're ready to go. One more time. 1, 2, boom. Okay? So it's a super visual. And to set up, you just put this in your right pocket, the ball in your left pocket, palm them, show this, 1, 2, and you're done. I'm gonna show you the back view of this so you can take a better look how it actually works. Okay, so here's the back view of this. This is going forward. You're holding the card with that part of the joker facing them, and the ball is palmed right here. So I'm gonna shake it, and on the third time this is gonna flip, and I'm gonna toss the ball. Alright, so I'm gonna show you something really fun. Now, on a game of roulette, there's a lot of numbers here. Okay, there's a lot of numbers that you can choose. Of course, there's no bets on this one yet, but let's see if we can change this. I'm also gonna prove to you that I'm one of the luckiest guys and I can actually see the outcome in some of these games. Now, why don't I do that all the time? Is because, you know, I don't know, I'll be too rich and people are not gonna like it. Anyways, we're gonna try something fun. I'm gonna take a prediction first, okay? So I don't want you to see what card I'm gonna take, but yes, I'm gonna take this card, and yeah, and I'm gonna put it in my pocket. Now, which pile do you want to use? This one or this one? This one, perfect. So this one, we're gonna keep it face up. There's no way that I can cheat. And we're gonna use this one to pick a number for you. So I'm gonna start dealing the cards, and you tell me whenever you want to stop. Stop, perfect. Now we're gonna take 2 cards. So you want this card, you want to take that card. This one, all right. Now, because I said you're gonna take 2 cards, you can take the one that we already dealt before, or the one that we haven't. Which one do you want? The one that we haven't? Perfect. And that goes away. Now this will form a lucky number for you. Let's see what it is. A 9 and a 6. Ooh, that is 15, right? So let's count 15 cards over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. The 15th card is the 2 of spade. Now I told you, I knew things ahead of time. Like first, for example, 15. I knew that. Because see, magically in the box, there is a bet now. Look. Right on the 15th. But before that, I knew that was going to happen too. Because look, in my pocket, I took a card. Didn't I? And of course, that matches your card. It's the mate of it. Inside the box, before I started, I put a little prediction. And that is the 2 of spade. But now, I can't repeat this trick. The only reason I don't go to casinos winning this thing is because they find me. I'm gonna get caught red-handed with the ball and a lot of money in my hands, and I might lose and get beat up, and I don't want that to happen. Anyways, this is a super cool prediction trick that you can do with the roulette deck. Alright, so just seeing how to do a trick like Overkill from Paul Harris. using the roulette. So the preparation for this is pretty simple. We're gonna need the ball, and that ball goes in my left pocket. You're gonna need a prediction, which my prediction here is the 2 of spade. So I just took a marker. I'm using, of course, a mechanics marker, and I wrote here the 2 of spade. You need your box gaff in the stack. Okay, so I'm going to show you the stack over here. You're going to take 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10s from the deck. Okay, and you're going to separate them into 8, 7, 8, 7, 8, 7, 8, 7. Okay. Then 9, 6, 9, 6, 9, 6, 9, 6. Then 5, 10, 5, 10, 5, 10, 5, 10. Okay. And this will be your stack. Which means each one of these 8 card banks will add up to 15. And I will go through it and I'll show you how we'll work this out. Now you're going to take the mate of your force and you're going to put it on a face-up stack here. Boom. Now you're going to take your prediction card. You're going to put it in a 15th position. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This goes on top. I get my card, my box gaff. That goes also on top. I fold this. Now I put the cards back in the box, and so the prediction. From here now, it's a super simple trick and it's very self-working. You take the cards off the box, careful not to expose your prediction, and you can show them there's no prediction whatsoever in the box. Now, as I do this, I put the box closer to me. I'm getting a break. Just make sure they remember what side the gaff is. Okay. If you want, you can put a little dot somewhere just to kind of guide you. Now I get a little break and push the box away, leaving that card on top of the box. Because they all match, there's nothing to see. But now I added the ball in the 15 as a prediction over there. Now I go into here and I look through the mate of my card, which is the 2 of clubs. Of course, this will be hidden. And as I'm taking this, I'm breaking this into 2. This goes into my pocket along with the ball. Now, here's the magician's force. So you ask them, which pile do you want to use, this one or this one? If they say this one, fine, we're going to use this one for you. This one, we're going to keep it face up. If they say this one, you say, fine, we're going to leave it face up. So there's no way that I can cheat or do anything funny with it. And we're going to use this one to make a number for you. Now, how do they make a number? It's easy. You start dealing and tell them to say stop. So let's say, as I'm dealing, before they say stop, I also count the cards. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I know this is my 8 cards. And they didn't say stop. So I keep going. Now, after 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they say stop. So after they say stop, I can give them a choice. I'm like, do you want this card or this card? Let's say they want this one. And you say, now, because I wanted to take 2 cards to make it, you can take the card below or the card above. Which one do you want? Let's say whatever card they want, you can deal it. Because both cards right now will be the 9s, right? And why? I can see the mark right there, okay? So if you get lost, just look at the marks. So let's say they take this one, I take the rest, put it on top. So let's see what number the luck just gave you will add up to 15. Now you count 15 cards over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Wow, what a surprise. The 2 of spade. You can grab the rest, you can put it on top. It lands right on the 2, of course, that's your force. Now you show them that you had a prediction over there, which landed right on the 15th. Now they see that ball in there, and of course they're going to react because there was no ball before. Now you put the box aside on top of the deck of cards just to push it away, and you ditch the gimmick. Okay? Now you go into your pocket, palm the ball, now you go into your pocket, palm the ball along with the card, and show them that it actually is the mate of their card. Now you open up the box, dump the content out of it. Just be careful not to flash the ball, of course, in there, and show that the 2 of spade is the match. Now all you have to do is close this and act like you're going to take the ball off, which is all I have to do is pull. The ball comes off the hand. Now they see there's no prediction there anymore, and you preset. So it's a very magical routine and very mentalist like to pull hair is overkill, and there's a lot of other ones. It's called further than that. So there's a couple of tricks you can do a little bit of research, but yeah, that's the advantage of this is the stack. You can read the backs of it, and you have a much more powerful impact when the ball comes off the prediction. In France, there was 3 friends that made a lot of money in a roulette game. I don't know if you know, but there's lots of ways to get money in a roulette game. You can bet in 4 numbers at once. You can bet just red and black, so if it falls on a red number or black number, you can win. But the biggest payout is when you win on a single number. Now there's no bets in here yet, as you can see. You're gonna play the part of the person doing all the bet, okay? Another key component for this scam to work was a guy named the marker. And the marker is going to be played by my friend, the ace of spade. Now the marker's job was to tell you which number to bet on. So let's just go ahead and spread it. And you place this anywhere you like. So they place it, let's say over there. Now because it's super easy to mix up because all the backs, I'm just gonna actually just flip the ace face up, so it's a little easy for you to find where it is. Now the marker also had a different job. Not only had to tell you which number to bet on, but he had to stay on the corner and smoking a cigarette, because you're allowed to smoke cigarettes back in the days in this head of casino, and would push a button on a remote control to help the dealer, which I'm gonna get to in a second. First, we're gonna do this. I'm gonna leave the marker here with a secret number for you in a second. I'll introduce you to Joe. Joe is a crooked dealer, okay? Now his job was to switch the ball from the casino, the ball that he's holding right now, to a different ball that they made. So every time the marker pushed the button that was in a cigarette packet that he was using to smoke a cigarette in the corner, the ball would jump from side to side and land on the number that they wanted to. But of course, Joe here had to throw the ball and switch the ball, which was a very, very, dangerous thing to do. So let's go and see if they accomplished this. Now the marker told you a number to pick. let's see what number did they say. 6 and a 9. So if you add them up, would be 15. So he cued you. Go right on the 15. Now all Joe had to do was toss the ball would roll. The marker pushed that button. As soon as he pushed that button, you'd see that Joe had no more ball in his hand. It was already done. It bounced from side to side and landed to the biggest payout right there. And if you can see, on the 15th. Boom. Now you won a lot of money. Everybody was freaking out. But see, there's a thing that you cannot do in the casinos. You can run the same scam over and over. And before anything happened, before you had to place a bet or before you do anything, now Joe had to get out of sight. So would have the marker. The game would have to be reset somehow. The marker would tell you if anything was happening because he's the marker. And then you have to go to another casino to play because if you win too many times, you're gonna get in trouble. But the hardest part is when Joe had to leave and he forgot to switch the ball. And that's how they lost a lot more money because they couldn't be playing in any other casinos. And if that story teaches anything, is don't try to cheat. You're gonna get beat up, you might have lost a lot of money. But if you do it well. Alright, so this was the box gap trick. Now, I did a little pattern over here, but I highly suggest you to go and find your own because everybody has a different style, and what usually worked for me maybe doesn't work for you, but that's just the base bones of it. When we came up with the roulette deck, I really thought it would be super cool to have something to do with the box that would include a full routine. So you could use the box, the jokers, the cards, and get a little extra ball and become a full routine, not just a quick, simple trick. And so that's what we came up with it. So of course, you have your box, right? I have a little ball here, and this is just a metal ball. A marble ball would do it too. But if you do have a metal ball, what I actually do is I put a little magnet inside the box. And I put black tape in here so you can see it. And it's just strong enough that it can hold the ball. Okay? And it's not extremely strong, so if I give a little tap, the ball will fall. Okay? Now you're gonna take the two jokers, of course. Okay? And the joker that has holding the ball, what I call him Joe, you're gonna glue it to the back of the box gaff. Okay? Or double stick tape or whatever you want to do. Now what I did here to make this look like the box a little more is I got an X-Acto knife and I just scratched where it actually lands here in the box. And then I actually scratched a little bit of the box too, so they kind of look alike a little bit more. Okay? Now once this is done, you take Joe and the ball and you put it in your right pocket. When I put it in my pocket, I put it with the roulette looking up. So I know every time I pull it out, I can see it. But if in doubt, if you're in the middle of another routine and if you pull this out, of course, you can just peek at it and then rotate it. So now here's the setup for the trick. You're gonna get two cards that match up to 15, so they're gonna add up. Okay, I'm using a 6 and a 9 just because it's easier. You're gonna take your joker, you know, the one with the empty hand, put it on the face, in the bottom, on the top of the face-up deck. Okay. One of your force cards, and I'm putting the ace of spade as my marked card. Okay. That is just the ace of spade. It will not have any value other than being a mark. They're going to flip everything over. You're going to put the other force card on top. Everything goes back inside the box. And I put it with the ace facing my flap. So I know when I take out the cards, I'll take out this way and not flash that ace. Now when you start, you can talk about the roulette game, ways to bet, however you want it. Now I turn it over, open the box, and immediately close it. Okay? Now that you closed it, now you're going to have to produce that ace. And to produce that ace, I'm using a version of Pied for Ton pop-out move. But I'm doing with a swing cut style grip. So you have to learn how to cut the deck like this with one hand, okay, which is not hard to do. All you have to do is grab the whole deck, thumb on the back, fingers in front, like this, and then you pull half of it, okay. So it's supposed to be to cut it like that. But as you do this, I'm going to get a break under the bottom card. When my right hand grabs it, I'm going to transfer that break to my thumb. So it's a thumb break. I'm exaggerating here, okay, guys? Now what you're going to do is you're going to cut the deck as a swing cut type of thing. You're going to shoot your hand forward. And you're going to come to a dead stop. So it's like, whoop. As you're shooting your hand forward, you're going to let go of the break. So you're just going to let go of that card. And when it becomes to a dead stop, of course the card is now going to be over here. Your hand is going to pull back very quickly, which is going to spin the card out of the deck so it looks like it came from the center. So I'm going to try to do this in slow motion. It's a little hard, but you open. Yep. See, it's a little weird to do this in slow motion. Huh? And that happens. It's just a swing cut. You toss it forward. Okay? I'll do it forward again. Now, if you can't do that, you can just keep the ace over here and take it and put it on the table or whatever reveal that you want to do. Okay? So that's just the way that I did it on the video. So I wanted to show you guys that. Now, just important, do not flash the bottom card if you take it from here. So I do the move. So I'm doing the move. Boom. The card shoots out. And there's the ace. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a force called the Prophecy Force, the Bill Simon Prophecy Force. You're going to give them the ace of spade facing down and tell them to put that ace of spade anywhere they like on the deck. So you can spread it if you want, and they put the, let's say, the ace of spade right here. Now you square and say, well, all the cards are face down. It's kind of easy to lose that ace. So let's do it like this. You're going to spread all the cards until you get to that protruding ace. You're going to grab everything in dealer's grip. Now you're going to go from the palm up to palm down, grab that ace by the, like in a 45-degree angle here corner, flip everything on the bottom, like that. So basically you just cut the deck, okay? But you're doing such a way that looks like you're just rotating that ace from a face down to a face up. So in the motion should be like, I know this card is, the ace is face down, so it's very easy to miss. So if I put it face up, it will be a little easier for you to follow up, right? And then you've done the force. Now you take the card above and the card below. Now remember, this part here on top now was the bottom cards, okay? And this was where your jokers, the other jokers, are going to be. So when you cut this, you just actually place it on the bottom again, so you know where it is. That goes forward, so that's the card that they're just going to bet. Now you're going to introduce Joe. Joe is my crooked dealer. You show Joe this way and you hide in here. But as I'm going to my pocket, I'm just going to push this card and get a break. Okay? So once I get a break, I put Joe right on top of it. Now you do a double lift. Okay? Flip 2 cards at once. It's super simple now because the card is thick. If you want to do this, you can. I usually just hold it to show and place it in a box. Now, why do I do this? Because when I place it in a box, I know the roulette is it's facing up. When I put it here, that's why it is important, because if you do this and it goes that way, that might kind of mess up the illusion. Okay, so you can show it, put it on the box, and then I slide a little bit and keep like a huge break over here on the box with my other fingers, just to kind of separate the card from the box. I tell them to count, and of course it's going to be to 15. Then all you have to do is flick. You flick and show. Boom. Now you showed that actually it did toss the ball. But I'm still covering the box a little bit. I'm not calling attention. Then when you go forward and you show them, then now there is a little ball on the 15th card. Of course, they're going to react. Like, because now there is one. So he actually did toss the ball. You're going to drop this on top. Okay. And in a moment of relaxation, your thumb is going to push down a flap here. And you're going to push the 2 cards forward as your hand comes back. So there's not a lot of heat in it. All right. You're going to hold the joker over here. And then you tilt the box down. Put it down. And they say, well, would you like to see that again? Or would you like to try it again? I'll put Joey back over here. And you can say, well, he cannot play anymore now because he got caught, or whatever you want to say. And as your hand comes out, what do? You steal the ball. Okay. Now as you steal the ball and you take those 2 cards and you put them on top of the deck. You can leave the ace of spades, but as I'm doing this, I'm putting that ball into the magnet over here, which is not a super strong magnet. It's just to hold it for a second. Now I tilt the box this way a bit to show that it's single and I have nothing in my hands. And then you give a little shake, the ball falls out, and then you can show again now that is no ball on the 15 anymore. So it literally took the image and made it real. Okay, so that is the routine with the box gaff. So another alternative, if you using a marble ball or any other ball, it's just when you palm it and you go under here, you hold the box and you hold the ball this way. Okay, so it's a very easy grip, and all you have to do is give a little shake and it'll fall. I'll probably show it to you with the part that has no magnet. Okay, so I'm here, I'm holding the ball, you give a little shake, now of course the ball falls out, and you can do this. So there's a lot of variations that you can do. You can literally just palm the ball over here, show it, and go and whoop, take the ball too if you don't have a magnetic ball. I do like the illusion of both hands being empty and you doing that, but it depends on the situation. You might not have the magnet or not, so I'm giving you a few other options over here. So there you go. This is the box gaff piece. Hope you enjoyed it. It's a full routine. Again, hopefully you're gonna use your own pattern, come up with something really cool, post it on our Facebook group so we can all share and see how you did.